Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, hi, my name is Sylvia, and today we are going to be talking about ways to approach your gray hair. Now this video is for you whether you are just starting to see your first gray strands or you have 75% or more gray. So I'm going to be going over most of the gray hair issues and how to attack them. So I'm here to kind of demystify some of these issues, and not only that, but give you solutions on how you can fix all of your gray issues. If you've not subscribed yet, please go ahead and click that red subscribe button. You can also click the notification bell. All that's going to do is anytime that I upload a new video, it's going to pop up on your feed so that you don't miss any new amazing hair info. It helps support me, which absolutely means the whole world to me, and it doesn't cost you a thing. So first, let's start off when you just start to see gray. For anyone with under 25% gray. Now, if you're already coloring your hair, you can continue to do the same thing because you're already coloring anyway. 25% or less of gray isn't going to really alter your results. Now, if you haven't colored yet and you're trying to figure out what's the best way to attack those grays, I definitely don't recommend just going in with a permanent color. Not just yet. Coloring 100% of your hair to only cover 25%, in my opinion, is pretty silly. So one of the best ways to kind of camouflage those early onset grays is to get either a baby light or a light highlight. So what that means is, say you're brunette, you can just get a highlight in kind of a caramel shade. It'll just blend in with the very little gray that you have. It's a far less invasive way of coloring your hair because, again, you're still only coloring maybe under 40 or 30% of your hair. You're updating your color and at the same time refreshing and blending in those grays. All right, now say you have 50% gray. This is at that point where you start to see it every 2 to 3 weeks, and maybe you're already coloring your hair, but it's not effectively being covered, and you start to kind of see the translucency in the color and you just start seeing those grays way too early. Very important, when coloring your hair, you need to use 20 volume, permanent color. So if you're using either a semi-permanent color or a toning gloss, I can't tell you the amount of times that I've had a virtual consult that someone's like, oh, I'm using shade ZQ on my gray, and they just keep popping up. That's a toner. All that's doing is a very light stain on the hair. So within 2 weeks, that color will fade and the grays will still be present. So you need permanent hair color in order to actually open up those gray hairs to effectively deposit color into the hair so that that color is permanently colored. Another thing I recommend is staying under a level 8. Even if you're mixing with a 20 volume and you're using a level 9 or even a level 10, what that's going to end up doing is lighten the hair next to that gray hair and not really cover the gray hair effectively. So a good shade for grays is normally a level 6 or a number 7. And if you're naturally brunette and you're looking to stay looking brunette, a level 5 or 4 is ideal. Now let's get into the more kind of a complicated situation, which is you have 50% gray and you've been coloring your hair and now you've decided you want to embrace the gray. This is one of the most challenging things to do even at a salon, and the reason for that is you probably have years of permanent color in your hair, and in order to strip that, it would be so damaging, and even if you were to do that and completely bleach it out, it would still be different than the color you have up here. The reason for that is because you still have a good mix of your natural color and the new grays. So in order to effectively match that to the bottom, you'd have to bleach out your ends and then tone with a very, very similar gray shade to almost mimic what you have going at the roots. So just by the sound of it, you can tell it is a very high maintenance way to get there. It is possible on some hair types, meaning if your hair is healthy enough to do so. And second of all, depending on how dark you have been coloring your hair. Now, if you've been going in with a jet black for 5 or 6 years, it's going to be a lot more difficult for you, and you're probably always going to be left with kind of some warm tones at the ends. In my opinion, the best way is to let it grow out, but obviously that would mean at least 2 years of an awkward color grow out. So one of my solutions to this issue is to continue coloring your roots, but doing so with a semi-permanent color. So it's not going to be as full coverage as the color you've been getting on your ends, but it's going to match a lot nicer to your ends. And as that color grows out, less and less are you left with permanent color. So as that permanent color grows out and you have only a semi-permanent color on your hair, getting rid of that color and lightening that is going to be so much easier. So my best advice here is don't just expect, oh, I have 4 inches of roots, I want to brighten my ends, let's just brighten it up and it'll match the roots. It's a little more complicated than that. So having a slightly different plan like the one I just explained is going to be far easier on your hair, and at least it gets rid of that uncomfortable kind of stage of growing out your roots. All right, my last tip and my last bit of advice for gray is keep it hydrated. Gray hair is not the same hair type that you had when it had pigment in it. It is essentially a naked hair. That pigment kept it healthy, kept it shiny, and of course the color alone gives it an illusion of healthier and basically a younger hair strand. So whether you decide to color your hair or you decide to embrace your beautiful gray, the most important thing is to keep it hydrated. And you do want to compensate for that lack of moisture that gray hair just comes with. A good way to do so is, of course, use a good quality shampoo and conditioner, but also using a good quality argan oil, something that's still going to be light on the hair. You don't want anything heavy or anything that's going to be yellowing, because there's nothing worse than gray hair that has a yellow tint to it. Another thing to kind of help with that is to use a purple shampoo. Yes, purple shampoo is not just for blondes. I actually have a client that we did the gray transition about 2 years ago, basically right before a lockdown. And she feels so lucky that she decided to do that before the lockdown, because her hair color routine now, all it is using a purple shampoo. And every time I see her for a haircut, her hair looks shiny, it looks toned, and it has a beautiful ash tint that just looks like she tones her hair regularly. It gives kind of a young edge to the hair, and it's like one of the easiest things you can do. So keep a good tone on those beautiful gray strands and keep it hydrated. So hopefully this video is helpful to a broad range of gray hair needs. And of course, if you would like further help with your hair and you want a personalized formulation, you're not able to get into a salon yet, I am still offering virtual consults. I've met so many of you guys this way, and honestly, when I started doing this, I thought I'd probably do it for a month, and here we are over 13 months later, still doing it, and it's been a huge success. So I'm happy to continue offering this and being able to help you with your at-home hair needs. All right, guys, if you're still here and if you've not subscribed yet, please go ahead and click that red subscribe button. Anyway, thank you for stopping by. I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.